Welcome, everyone. So, we are really glad to have you here in our panel, Lesbians in Tech, a Brazilian narrative for the world. Before starting, I'd like to tell you to leave any questions you might have either on the Zoom chat or in the Pulse chat in Passable, as we will try to answer them later. Well, during this panel, we have the ambition to name common obstacles and possible solutions to increase lesbians in the tech industry, as well as get more support within companies, outside them, and understand how nonprofit organizations can support companies in this process. I am Paula Ramos. My pronouns are she, her. I am white. I have brown eyes. I am wearing a black t shirt, transparent glasses, and I have a short blonde hair, which is not natural though. I am Brazilian, currently based in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm a proud lesbian and head of creative operations at The Grid, a Brazilian HR creative studio. I have very recently moved to HR, and prior to it, I was a cross product lead at Dell Digital and Pride ERG chapter lead at Dell in Brazil. Also, having previously worked in design and tech studios from the US, Ireland, and Brazil. Having said that, I'd love to invite my friend Thais Freitas to present herself now.
Not on mute, please. Hello, everyone. I'm Thais Freitas. My pronouns are she and her. I graduated in computer science and I have a career of over 20 years in technology and large companies and startups. Throughout my career, I have led teams of development infrastructure, sales operations, and also IT implementation projects. I am currently Director of Strategy and Sales for Oracle Latin America, leading 4 teams with about 42 employees. I am a lesbian, have white skin, short and brown hair. I am a Brazilian living in São Paulo. I am Dani's wife and Rafaela's mom, and I am part of Open at Oracle, the committee that addresses the LGBTQAI+ initiatives in the company. It is a pleasure to be here with you today in this panel and share a little bit of my experience being a lesbian in the technology supermarket. What about you, Bruna?
Thank you, Thais. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, everyone that are here with us. Thank you for these opportunities. I will introduce myself. So as you can see, my name is Bruna. My pronouns are she and her. I'm 27, I'm a lesbian, and I love to talk about signs, so my sign is Aquarius. I'm wearing a white shirt now with a phrase, love unite us, and with a big colorful heart behind me. I'm a social communicator with an MBA in strategic business management, and I have over 10 certificates in my career. I've been working with technology for 7 years now, and currently I'm at Salesforce, and I'm a business growth and developer. And I'm also the president for Outforce Brazil, which is the ERG dedicated to the LGBTQIA+ community. Well, in my free time, I love to make some coffee because I'm a barista and I love to read books. This is a fun fact about me, and I would love to hear about Ananda as well.
Thank you, Bruna. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you all for being here. So my name is Ananda Pusta. My pronouns are she, her. I'm in Brazil as well, based in Curitiba, the south. And I'm currently wearing a pink sweatshirt, and I have a gray background around. And I'm a person of color. I'm a brown skin girl. I wear glasses and I have curly hair, and I'm really happy to be here and talking a little bit about me. I'm currently the country director for Ella Global Community, an NGO that uplifts the voices of queer women and non-binary people. And I'm a lawyer, not a tech person, but in tech also, because at Ella we have a really nice app that we are launching, and the beta version this year. So yeah, alongside with those amazing women that are here with me, I want to address a little bit how we can contribute to uplift the voices of lesbians in the tech industry. And I want to see if my colleague, Marina, wants to introduce herself.
Thanks, Ananda. Thanks, everyone. Hi. It's a pleasure to be with you all today, sharing a little of my experiences. My name is Marina Almeida. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a cis, white, and lesbian woman. I have brown hair, and I'm wearing glasses and a blue shirt writing Be Yourself, which, by the way, is the shirt that represents Pride at Dell. And for the last 5 years, I have been working as technical sales representative for Dell Technologies, enabling customers to start and develop their digital transformation. And I also work as Pride ERG chapter lead, where we create initiatives that encourage an environment of respect for diversity of gender identity, sexual orientation, and gender expression at Dell Technologies here in Brazil. And I would like to start our conversation with an important question. We know that people are often afraid to use the word lesbian, and sometimes a lesbian woman is called a gay woman, among other things. And with this context, Ananda, could you tell us what does the word lesbian mean? You don't mute.
Okay, thank you for the for the help. I wasn't finding on my mute button. So yes, so the word lesbian comes from this great island called Lesbos, the Isle of Lesbos, and is actually a mention for Sappho, which was a really nice poet that had a really affection for women back in the day. And we actually inherited this complex word to talk about women who love women, right? And of course, in the 19th century, we got this specific word in English to talk about gay women. But when you Google it, the crazy thing is that, yeah, we just type there lesbian and you get the similarity, meaning a gay woman. So yeah, we have affection for other women, and we are constantly told as women who love women and gay women. But this word is currently starting to be used in the 19th century, and then hugely used in the late 70s, 80s, and with the peak into the 2000s. And now people are less using it because they are afraid of talking about and being identified as lesbians. So this is something this is a taboo that we need to fight against and make reshape the word as a pride identity. So yeah, I'm really proud to tell that I'm a lesbian woman and have other women that identify the same. So that being said, I really want to dive into the leadership positions, right? So we have a lot of ladies that are in leadership positions here, and I want to ask, first of all, for Paula, but then Thais and Bruna, if you want to answer as well, you're most and welcome. What do lesbians in leadership position mean and imply to you? Paula, please.
Thank you, Ananda. That's such an important question. Well, I'd start as saying that according to the PwC's research in Brazil, only 38% of women who are attracted to other women are out in the workplace. And please note that in the census, we don't have numbers that are exclusive to lesbians. So I would say that first and foremost, it means representation to stand the obvious. We need to see ourselves in the workplace, in places we weren't previously invited to take part. If we niche this view to a Brazilian reality, getting out of the closet is still a great taboo in the workplace and in the country. And when we are speaking about women specifically, this subject gets even more delicate. Brazil is for the 15th time in a row the country that kills more LGBTQIP plus people in the world. And gender violence is a great part of it. Hence, we're speaking about difficulties that are connected to a series of layers of one's intersectionality, being homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, racism, class prejudice. among others. And that is why lesbians in leadership, in my opinion, are so important, because then we can have the ability and power to manage on our own account a more inclusive environment in a way that we can change structural biases and create management practices that are effectively listen and it's more empathetic while still being results driven, okay, but that most importantly focus on the best way a diverse team can deliver results that are in fact deeply connected to the team's and company's values and ethics. What do you think about that, Daisy?
For me, Paula, being a woman and a lesbian in the leadership position has meant sometimes in my career giving up on being who I would naturally feel comfortable with in order to navigate the corporate landscape more easily. I am aware that I enjoy a lot of privileges throughout my career, being a cisgender and white woman with a higher education degree traditionally valued by the market, but even so, many times in my early career, I omitted the fact of being a lesbian until I felt confident enough to do my outing. And I imagine many other lesbian women could have been inspired by me or felt empowered by my example much longer ago, but they weren't because I wasn't feeling safe or strong enough to speak up since my early years of career in the industry of technology. But nowadays it is totally different. Now for me, being a lesbian in a leadership position implies giving access, empowering and coaching other lesbian women to feel safe and welcome. It is also implies participating in events and workshops like this one, sharing my experience, my opinions, because for me, representation matters. And what's your opinion, Bruna?
Well, first, to me, you two are an example to me. So that's why it's important. I will give my opinion. Like here in Brazil, I grew up watching lesbians being represented only in comic TV shows, for fun, or being discriminated. Like even in my own family, I could see my own cousin being discriminated by my grandparents. So I didn't feel safe to come out. And when I saw an open lesbian as a chief legal officer in my previous company, which was Uber, I feel like, okay, I can be there as well, because she was like representing me. She was telling me, hey, Bruna, you can be here exactly where I am. So I took a long time to come out of the closet, but now I'm happy. And I can see that when I see women and lesbians in leadership, you are teaching me that I can also grow my career and also that I'm capable to be there as well. And yes, that's it. This answer is it's pretty emotional, but it's from the bottom of my heart. Now I would like to invite my friend Marina and Paula to help me with this one. How can we reach the tech world and also to empower this chain?
Thanks, Bruna. So I think it's extremely important, as you have already said, to have lesbian women leaders where we can feel represented. So today, for example, we are here and we are talking with 4 women who I admire a lot and who make me feel represented. And I think that's a huge step, and it's so important for us to be here talking about our experiences. And we need to work on actions that promote the importance of being heard. So today I feel much happier and more productive to be part of the 30% of lesbian women who feel comfortable being who they are in the workplace. And I think the biggest step is the first step. It's bring the subject to the table, make everyone knows that we exist, that we are empowered and capable professionals. And you, Paula, what do you think about it?
Well, thank you, Marina. I would say to start in terms of reaching the tech world specifically, I'd say do not be afraid of not knowing much at first, if that's what you want. I mean, I started a job in the tech industry, for example. It's not because the tech industry requires a certain sometimes amount of technical knowledge that you cannot start working with it, depending on the job you're looking for, surely. I mean, on a personal note, I started working with technology when I was working as a graphic design project manager, giving my design background. But at the studio that I used to work at, they decided to hire developers and started a technology product line. And at the time, they asked the project managers team if anyone would have an interest to learn software development processes, so to manage IT operations within the company. And there I went. All I needed was to say yes. And that's what I did. I was really privileged and lucky indeed. It's been like 6 years since I first started working on web and app development and have not stopped working and connecting myself with IT since then. In terms of how to empower the chain, I would say we need to hire more women and lesbians. We need to invest more in education, in lesbians tech development and knowledge base. We need to have more niche initiatives as this one, mainly because identity-based actions are sources of strength, community, and intellectual development. We also need to let women and lesbians to speak by themselves and represent themselves in leadership roles. Hence, and this might sound uncomfortable for a few, but it's a necessary truth. We need to stop only having the majority of gay men and mainly cis and white giving the final word in diversity and inclusion initiatives and budget. And hence, to finalize, I would say creating an environment that listens to what lesbians employees want and need. Having said that, I would love to ask you, Thaisi and Marina, how is your experience specifically working in a technology company?
Paula, I've worked in tech large companies and startups throughout my career, as I said. And in my experience in those companies was different more from my point of view of maturity and my acceptance process than from the companies themselves. As tech industry is a male industry in their workforce predominantly, I didn't feel safe in the beginning as I needed to live my true version. And most of the times I was the only woman in the room, maybe always the only out lesbian in the room. My first experience at a large tech company was right after my graduation, a few months after being hired as a trainee, a developer trainee. I was promoted to team leader and I wasn't out at that time. I was 21 years old and I had a lot of internal conflicts to promote team engagement while living the anxiety of knowing I wasn't being totally honest with them about myself. In this company, once I heard from my leader when I mentioned that I was thinking about buying a car because we were leaving work very late, several nights, and he immediately agreed, saying that it would be very important for my image as a team leader not to come to work riding a motorcycle. I remember my first reaction was to be speechless, trying to organize my feelings after his prejudiced speech. And in my mind, I had safety as the main reason when I considered buying a car, while he was thinking about the company's image with the customer, with a lesbian project leader coming to work driving her motorcycle. So because of this and other microaggressions, I didn't feel that the environment was safe enough to do my outing. And a few years later, when I left this company for a tech startup, I was able to live my true identity and more openly with confidence. It was still a male environment, but with a culture that allowed me to feel safe and welcome. It was at this startup that I was able to plead the same-sex couple had the same health insurance rights, which was approved for the entire company. And at this point, I realized the strength I had, and I feel comfortable to step up and to speak up for the rest of us. And it was in this environment that I became an empowered lesbian woman leader with the tools I needed to support my teams and colleagues in this journey. What about you, Marina? Could you share with us a little bit of your experience working in a tech company?
Sure, Daisy, thanks. So, look, I've been working the technology market for the past 5 years. And before I enter in this market, I also had some frustrating experiences in other companies, including being disconnected from one of them when my sexual orientation was discovered. So on my first day working at Dell, my colleagues were all men. So I had two biases, being first one being a woman and second one being a lesbian woman in a market made up mostly of straight men. So even though with the existence of pride since my day one here, I was so afraid that a negative experience would be repeated in a company that I admire a lot. But for my happiness, it didn't happen again, because diversity groups are taking very serious here at Dell, and I see that company really cares about having a safe and inclusive work environment. And when I joined Dell, I became member of Pride and felt a sense of belonging for the first time in my professional journey. And that's why I believe so much in the power of sharing experience and what you can do through it. And today I'm one of the leaders for the Pride chapter in Brazil. And I feel that we can make a huge difference in the lives of so many people. And talking about diversity groups and understanding the actions that are performed with these groups, I would like to ask Bruna, Paula, and also you, Thaisi, in your opinion, are there specific initiatives for lesbians? Do people feel that there is a need for these actions?
Okay, I can go first. Yes, we have specific actions, but I think that we need more because even though the L is the first letter of the LGBTQIA+, I think that we need more visibility for the lesbians. And here in Brazil, we have the whole month of August for lesbian awareness, but I don't see as many posts on LinkedIn, for example, talking about lesbians visibility as I see in the Pride Month for always, gay white cis men. So yes, we need more actions and also more visibility to fix somehow our story, right? And here, talking about the Salesforce, we have some talks dedicated to included health, for example, where we always have a lot of LBT women, and we talk about fertility, egg freezing, health insurance, as Thaisi said. And we also sponsor some programs to teach women in technology, but we haven't yet made one for lesbians in technology, but that's one step that we're taking the next year, like to sponsor more programs. How about you, Paula?
Well, I'd say like overall or generally, we barely have a specific initiatives for lesbians. I mean, Adele in Brazil, I have co-founded the Lesbians in Tech panel in 2020 with Marina, with whom I also have the pleasure to be in this panel. It was the first ever niche event for the lesbian community to make our voices heard. Curiously, it reached the biggest audience of Pride's ZRG event in Brazil for the year 2020. And that most definitely leaves us a note on how people are effectively interested in the subject or are somewhat connected to it. I most definitely believe there is a need for these niche events to take place. It's not only a matter of representation, it's a matter of providing us with the ability and autonomy of speaking for ourselves, by ourselves. I mean, as human beings, we all need to share our experiences and feel that we are effectively heard. And hence, I would say that these initiatives should be a combination of company policies and equal pay, obviously, with the development of community actions according to what your lesbian peers would like to have in your work environment. So for these, I would say ask, do not assume what lesbians in your workplace want. I say that because we often in these panels, we are so anxiously looking for examples of initiatives that could be, we could get inspired to create innovative actions within our companies, but also we so often forget that the first more actively try to understand the people and community we are working with. And therefore, if anyone is here to looking for a set of examples on which type of event to create for lesbians at work, I would suggest use a design thinking method. Discover who are the lesbians at work. Talk to them if they feel comfortable to do it. Understand their reality and how they feel it could be improved. And then you can ideate solutions according to your possibilities and budget. And after all, then you can prototype your ideas and test them. It's simple, straightforward, and inclusive in its core because it's a process that actively listens to the audience before designing and creating anything else. That's my suggestion to you all. Thaisi, what would you say?
The direct answer is yes. We have some initiatives, and those initiatives are very important, but we need to work harder in the engagement of our communities to keep those initiatives alive. And we also need to make a push to create more, as you said, Paul. Regarding the second part of the topic, if people feel that there is a need for this action, or people feel that there is a need for this action, I can speak for myself. I do think it is important to have specific initiatives for us lesbians because having a support group and having a role model to inspire me would have been very important to me in my early career years. Initiatives targeting our community are the way lesbian women in tech industry can get more in touch with each other and learn from each other's experience. When I have the opportunity to coach young lesbians and talk about my career journey, there are always concerns that are very similar to the ones I had at the beginning. And they always ask me for more opportunities to get in touch with other stories and references. But we still have a lot to do. The under notification of LGBTQ lesbian women out make it difficult to understand how our group would like to be represented, as you also said, Paula. And we should ask more. And what are those initiatives and how those initiatives could be more impact? Ananda, do you have another topic for us?
Or do. First of all, I want to acknowledge and celebrate that today is in Lesbian International Day. So it's not by chance, and it's not really like a lucky day that that we are talking about lesbian in tech. So let's celebrate ourselves and the fact that we are here. And like going through that, I want to ask Marina and you, Thaisi, as well, and Bruna, do you feel that lesbians feel represented within their ERGs? Because we are talking about initiatives and everything, but then do we have that much representation, or we are still in the beginning in Brazil?
Good question, Ananda. Thanks for asking. So yes and no. I see initiatives for the community, but niche initiatives for lesbians. Today we only have one, which occur in August, month of lesbian visibility, that Paula said earlier. That is Lesbians in Tech, that was created by me and Paula at Dell in 2020, and also have the second edition with Bruna in a cross-company conversation with Salesforce this year. And by doing this event, we realized the importance of talking about the team. Today, within our group, I'm the only assumed lesbian woman, and this shows me that people need to feel represented to feel safe to come out, because I'm the only assumed, but we don't know how many girls we have there that have the same feeling that I have before I come out. So we work daily to make our work environment safe for these people. And I really felt that it is a safe place. And now the next step is to make it representative. And we can only do that by assuming our voice. And that's what we are doing here, right? And Thaisi, what about Oracle?
I have mixed feelings in this in this matter because, in my opinion, it's a no. But once again, we have the under notification. It is an issue to be overcome. Even at Oracle, the only company I've worked that has a specific ERG for each pillar of diversity and inclusion, one of them being LGBTQA, AI+, where I feel I'm represented, that my themes of career and belonging are recurrent agendas of the committee. We still have a very small group of out lesbian. We are always the same 5 lesbian women in events and initiatives. It is hard to me to believe that in a company with more than 7,000 employees in Latin America, there are only 5 lesbians. So it is difficult to say that lesbian women feel represented. I feel represented. The other 4 of us, I also believe they feel represented as well, but in some way, we are failing as a society to create an environment for women to feel safe to be out. We still have a way to go for these women to engage and feel represented. What's your perspective, Bruna? Do you think lesbians feel represented within the ERGs?
Not really. I want to agree with you and Marina. Here at Salesforce, we have Outforce, as I said, but we don't have a lot of lesbians. It's only me and other 2 in the whole company, and we have over 800 employees here in Brazil. So over 800 people, how can we have only 3 lesbians, right? I know there are more, but they're not out, and they're not comfortable to be out, as you said. So to me, first we have to create like a safe workspace. And how can we do that? We need more people interested in learning more about people who are not their mirror, you know what I mean? So if we get the whole minorities, we are actually the majorities, right? So if you get women, Black people, LGBTQ, people with disabilities, we are the majority. So why the minority? They are not learning about us. They are not learning about diversity and inclusion. We need more people studying about this and being good to others, because this way we're going to have more lesbians out, more people like being themselves, you know? So that's my point. That's my view. And now I think we could switch to like talking about outside the companies. So Paula, do you have a topic for us?
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Amelia. I would love to also ask to Ananda and Thaisi, in terms of outside the companies, what are the biggest challenges you face between your personal and professional lives as lesbians? Would you like
Well, I can start that. Well, I think coming from a different career and in the law perspective, very conservative one in Brazil, with not many people of color, not many lesbian women, and with all the stigma we have that you need to dress in a certain way, talk in a certain way, have the same haircut, and use the glass in a certain way. So we have all this dress code and everything. It was really hard for me to find myself within this industry. And when I really acknowledged that to be an activist would be more comfortable and not only personally but also professionally, I jumped into it, because for me it was really hard to pretend to be something that I wasn't in an industry that was always asking me to behave in a certain way and do certain things. And it was just also a matter of self-knowledge. So like the professional and the personal life were combining each other on coming out as my fully and unapologetic self everywhere. So once I realized that, I actually started doing more and more towards activism and fighting for LGBTQ rights. And one thing led to another, and I'm really happy that I discovered this part of myself, and I was able to discover other industries as well. The tech industry, for example, working with you in this panel and working with other folks from Dell and Salesforce and Oracle and other perspectives talking about diversity and inclusion. It was really, really beautiful for blossoming like that, you know. But what I would say was it is actually the need of self-knowledge on this path, so we don't lose ourselves in the way, you know, because it's somehow the workplace consumes us, and until we understand that we can be whatever we want to be. What about you, Thaisi? What do you think about that?
Ananda, I would like to bring this big old fallacy of work-life balance to this question. What about balance? What about in my life to have personal and professional life balance? And as if I don't have a family, I mean, most of the time, because I am a lesbian, I have some of my leaders talk with me, and in the past, mainly, you know, as I have infinity time to dedicate to myself to work, as if I don't have a family, and as if I don't dedicate time to my family. It is the same old work-life balance as I mentioned. Sometimes my leaders expect me to have more time available for work because I don't have a traditional family. At the end of the day, I have a wife at home to take care of the house and our daughter, right? No, it isn't like this. I would like to share an interesting experience I had a long time ago with a female leader. One day when I was working until late at night with her, I told my boss that my wife had just texted me saying, you don't need to be worried, everything is fine at home, our daughter is fine, we've done her homework together, and we are waiting for you for dinner. No need to be hurried. Then my boss' reaction, a straight woman, was saying to me how badly I would like to have a wife at home, waiting for me with everything ready without me having to worry about anything in the house. My first reaction was to be shocked by her comment, and then I made it clear to her in a polite way that our family did not work like that, that we both work hard in our career, and we share the chores around the house and caring for our daughter in a balanced way. I was not the man in the relationship, and I apologize for the man in the room. It is not a bias. I know it is not a rule for all the men. Finding a balanced way between career and personal life is worse when we are still dealing with the closet, in my perspective. But beyond these issues, being honest, many situations are quite even similar to my straight colleagues in finding a point of balance. And another topic I would like to bring to my colleagues, Marina, could you start sharing your perspective for how to work to make initiatives effectively impact the environment outside companies?
Sure.
Would you like
Thanks,
to
Thais.
start, Marina? Mm-hmm.
For sure. So I believe that the starting point is to implement policies that place the voice of these women or voices in strategic positions for companies. It means working on educational actions so that all people feel represented by your actions and feel a sense of belonging to our company. And in my belief, I don't believe that no action ends when the webinar ends, for example. It continues. It provokes us to think, take us out of our comfort zone, make us learn, and this reflects on our actions with society too. So I really believe that each individual has a huge potential to build a more dignified society. And I believe in the power of of education and the barriers we can overcome with it. And for you, Bruna?
Oh, I also agree with you, Marina. And I think that we need to work the individual and not to focus on the group. Because when we impact the individual, this person will reverberate that behavior in the community, right? In the greater ecosystem. And here in Brazil, we have a quote that is nobody unholds the hands of anyone, meaning we always carry our equals to the top with us. And I think that to reach that path to equality for all, we need more engaged allies. So that's the secret. The actions need to impact the allies, right? And that's why we need to bring those actions and behaviors outside the company. For example, in the next October 11, we will have the coming out day, and it's important to understand why this day exists and why it's so hard and so important to come out of the closet. As I said, I'm happy I'm out now, but it wasn't always like this. And I believe that it's mainly because I live in a very archaic and sexist culture, like here in Brazil. We have, if you don't know, we have the first president in the world, in the history, to be prosecuted for homophobia. Bolsonaro was ordered to pay 150,000 reais to the law because of this, because he was homophobic. And that's why we need more allies, because we need to change this, right? We need to change our present and the future for our next generation. And so my invitation here is to people to follow more lesbian on social media, to read more lesbians, to watch lesbian, to consume our content, right? To read about our story and to be in the same page as we are. And now I think we are coming to an end. And I like to ask my friend Ananda, if you can help me on this, how NGOs and civil society entities can help companies in a more lesbian inclusive process.
Now, thanks, Bruna, for this last question. I think it is crucial for us to talk about that, and that's mainly why I'm here to support you as well as an NGO leader. Because NGOs and civil societies, they can actually give the niche that everybody's looking for, and also connect people from companies to the community that needs this help. So whether it is learning more in the tech industry, whether it is having more possibilities to ascend on a workplace, or a training, or mentorship, or something like that, or also specific programs that can be launched together, NGOs alongside companies, to help our community to get beyond this gap of invisibility, of incapability in tech, or helping hiring processes as well. So we are here to support you. And NGOs are often, in Brazil specifically, not seen as professional enough to go around those kinds of projects, but things are changing. We have a lot of other NGOs and huge NGOs here that can help companies to overcome these barriers, and can help lesbians to find jobs and improve their careers alongside great mentors and great companies. So whether it is in a consultancy on content, or why DL comes first, or developing a project together, we are here for you, and we are all going to only work on together if we actually, you know, hold hands and build bridges and address the topic in a really responsible way, seeing all the problems that we have and how we can overcome them together. And that being said, I want to read some questions of the polls we have. The first one is, what are some everyday actions we can do to create greater equity in the tech field? Some things that we can all start doing tomorrow. And I will start answering that, but if you want to answer, you are more than welcome. But the thing that I keep the most in my heart in all those processes of diversity and inclusion is listen to people and hear what they feel and what they think they need, and what are their perspectives on the workplace, on ERGs, on representation, on how we can uplift their voices and how they want to feel and heard and be more welcomed alongside their colleagues, right? And does anyone want to address this issue as well?
I'd love to.
Okay, Paula.
In terms of everyday actions, if I mean like tomorrow, if we want to start doing something that is like really fast and like that would change somehow in the future, more gender equity, I'd say like start saying hi to women in tech in your company that you know. Start saying hi. Say like, yeah, I see you. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm proud of you. Start connecting with women that are in tech and say, I see you. You are there being a developer, being a programmer in the middle of like 60 flats. You know, start inviting, including these women and lesbians, and start talking to them, encouraging them to feel comfortable or to be heard. Yeah, this is the first thing that I would say. Like, if you want to go tomorrow to the workplace and do something different, I would start from that. And from after encouraging these people, we need to start talking not only with ERGs within companies, but also with HR to actually create development programs or women tech labs, lesbian tech labs, places in which you can actually develop the people that you already have in a company to be developers, to work with IT or to work connected within the IT industry. And also, when we look to ERGs, we are always looking to what we have inside within our company. So then programs to develop the people that you already have, but also create programs in which you will capacitate people outside the company to know about technology, so they can learn and start working at your company. And that's definitely not something you do in a short term, but that's definitely something that you can start raising questions, breaking the status quo, and encouraging people to actually change things in the medium or long term.
Thank you, Paula. I'm going to address another question from the polls. What are safe spaces for lesbians and bi plus women to network and socialize with each other outside of their workplaces? What do you think about that? Safe spaces outside workplace to, you know, just be yourselves. Who wants to start?
Well,
I have a hint.
I have a quick answer for that. Like, talking about myself, I'm living in São Paulo. I'm alone here, living by myself. I don't have my family here. So when I got in São Paulo, I found my safe place first online, like in groups for LBT women. And then I found some bars where they would go, and I was going there to build my network And then I was going out with my network, with my friends. So first I built my network, and then I was going out everywhere, because when I was just hanging out with my straight friends and going to like specific, like everywhere is very straight, right? I wasn't feeling comfortable even not to dress as myself. I was putting high heels. It was ridiculous. So I did this. I was finding these groups to find my people and then find the places, because I could just Google like, you know, lesbians bar in São Paulo. I didn't find anything. So Facebook, Twitter helped me a lot. And now I know where I can go.
Can't help with this question. And I am a boarding mother. I don't have, I don't have, I don't know how to start. How to start? I mean, I have my safe environment at home with my friends, with my family, and at Oracle also, because we have a lot of. But I'm a boring mom.
No, don't say that. Well, if I can say anything, as I told you before, we launched an app from Alagogo community. So there's a good place to start. You can download the app in an App Store or Google Play Store, and we have all the countries around the world, not all of them, but a lot of them, specifically in Latin America as well. We are launching Mexico and Colombia this weekend. So Brazil is there if you want to. It's just find your people, and we're just queer women and non-binary people there talking about our lives and our perspective of everything that we see around the world, right? So to go to the next question, do any of you have examples of how companies can invest in school educational initiatives to encourage LGBTQ women or LBTQ women to strengthen their tech skills and explore the field? Maybe there are pipeline programs. Do you know about that?
I'm gonna answer this one. And we have here at Dell a platform called Dell Lead, where we have some free courses that can help some people. They open some classes in I don't know in how much time they open this class, but I know that is a platform that have a lot of courses and can help a lot of people, and it's a free courses. So I think it's a great way to go. And I believe that we can do as company is work on our. I truly believe in soft skills, and I think hard skills we can develop. So I think this question I'm gonna say Dell Lead, because I think it's a great platform. If you have the opportunity to enter that, I will let the link here at the chat.
I would also, thank you, Marina. I would also add to that, there are loads of companies and mainly multinationals that work with development programs within universities in which they, this type of programs already exist, but they are not niched to LGBTQ women. So there is it. The program, how to make that happen or how to start a relationship with universities, these already is already happening in the world. And Dell, for example, specifically has a relationship with Unicinos, which is an university in Porto Alegre, for example, in the south of Brazil, in which they develop people and they have scholarships for people to study to become a product designer, product managers, which is basically focused on Dell new way of managing products. And this already exists. What we need, and there are loads of other multinationals that do the same, that have relationships with universities around the globe. This is not uniquely for Brazil. What we need to do is make sure that these programs will happen with this focus.
At Oracle, we also have one. I will share the link here with you in this chat. It is, once again, as Paula mentioned, it is not targeted to LGBTQ, but it is open to all the community. And it is, his intention is to prepare this new generation for technology. And of course, it is not only targeting this our group, no lesbian groups, but it is a good initiative to start.
And quickly about Salesforce, we also have one, but it's more focused on people with social vulnerability. We have a partnership with Centro Paula Souza. I could also share the link, but we are teaching tech and coding and everything about Salesforce, of course, to those people.
Nice one, nice one. And we at Ella, we have an idea coming up, and we'll soon be sharing this with you about lesbians and bisexuals and transgender and queer and non-binary people in tech. So just be tuned and follow us so we can share this with you shortly. Another question, and it's a really interesting one. We have 2 minutes to finish, so I'm gonna be quick. Interesting what you say about 3 out lesbians among 800 members. We wouldn't want to have people come out if they don't feel comfortable, but how can we make ERGs safer spaces to come out, even if only for some close friends, and only if people are truly ready to do so? Do you have any idea on how to answer this? Really complex, right? Depending on the environment, I think. Yeah. Go, Bruna or Marina.
All right, quickly. In my environment, I had like 2 people coming to me and saying that this work remotely was a bad thing for them, because they were living in the house of their family, so they didn't want to talk in the ERGs and open the camera and be out, because they didn't want their family to hear their conversations, you know. So I think that it was more a problem in the outside environment, because these people were working at home with family. But I believe that if we were at the office, I could help more easily. This is my opinion.
In mine too, Bruna. Yes, because sometimes sometimes it's difficult for some people inside the house, and when we have our ERG actions on site, we have some facilities that people come to us, and we can schedule a one-on-one and go to a room, and people feel more safe when they have this simple talk one-to-one, and that no one can hear, right? So it's more difficult in this scenario now.
I totally agree. And within the pandemic, we are all locked up in our houses, and some people are not comfortable talking about that. But if we have friends and we can, share on chat, on, whatever channel you have on your company, supporting people that need to come out or need to talk, that would be the best way. Paula, you opened your mic. Please give your thoughts.
We need to finish here, girls, but I'd say that to invest in interpersonal rapport development for ERG members, have your ERG leaders having one-on-ones with their team members, and make people say how they are actually feeling when you're in meetings. Stop only having work meetings. Use 10, 15 minutes of your meeting to listen how people are feeling. And then you can talk about work, and then you can be really objective and effective. But if we listen, and if we start as leaders showing ourselves as vulnerable and saying, yeah, I did didn't have a really great day at my personal life, but sure thing, I'm here. But like, great, I'm happy to be here with you. And then start like, we need to create personal rapport with ourselves, you know, so that we can feel that we can come out. I believe it's like, it's not simple to do that as a leader, but we need to start improving in that interpersonal rapport ourselves with our team members, and then people will naturally eventually feel comfortable to do so. That's what I would say.
Words of wisdoms. Thank you. Thank you. We need to close, right?
Yeah, I would say that it was a great pleasure to be here with everyone and these amazing, powerful women that can inspire us all. I hope you enjoyed yourselves throughout the summit, and see you soon. Thanks a million for being here.
Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye
you.
bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for making this happening. Have a nice end of summit for everybody.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Obrigada.
Obrigada, pessoal.
Thank you.
Tchau, tchau.